o'clock. So how this works is this whale will, it's coming up at 1. This whale will start below the surface. And then it'll swim in a circle as it approaches the surface. And while it's doing so, they release air from their lungs and out of the blowholes to create those bubbles. And these bubbles will make a net, quite literally a net out of the bubbles. That's why it's called bubble net feeding. And it'll corral the fish into a small area towards the surface. Typically, when they utilize this feeding technique, they come up to the surface with their mouths wide open, taking in all that food and water. And bubble net feeding is often something we see where these whales work collaboratively. So this is something where we've seen 20 plus whales working together. And it's really, really cool if you go home and you look up an aerial view of bubble net feeding. These whales are so synchronized. They make these beautiful, perfect circles that turn into these spirals. And it's a really, really cool behavior that these whales have. So we'll wait for this whale to pop back up for us. So I told you to look out at those bubbles, and you saw that the water was that lighter green color. Now our water is pretty dark green and murky, but it gets that lighter green color. And also, when these whales start to come up to the surface, if you haven't noticed, keep an eye out going forward. You'll see some light green on either side of the whale. Now these are their pectoral fins, and they're white. But they reflect green to us, and we see that light green from the bubble nets, and also, if you look off the back of the boat, our jet wash, that'll look a light green color. This is because our water is full of plankton, full of plant life, the very base of the food web, and it works its way up to that small schooling fish. Out at 2 o'clock here, works its way up to the small schooling fish that these whales are feeding on. If you were to head down